Hello comrades! So in my last video about European Union, Comrade Hellas make a comment, and this video it will be my answer to Comrade Hellas. Firstly, I would like to say that Comrade Hellas it is comrade from Greece. You can find in this channel our conversation which we made a few months ago, and because of the situation which is now in the south of Europe, in Greece, also in Turkey and other countries where is very hot, the temperature is the 50 Celsius degree, there are the fires, and then it is a consequence of the climate change, which is a consequence of the capitalist system. So the fire of the forest, and I want to show my solidarity with all the victims of the capitalist system. Okay, so I will read this comment. There is no socialism without internationalism. The European Union is a vessel for a pan-European workers' uprising. There will never be such an uprising as long as there is inequality between workers and national divisions. This is clearly obvious. So I want to say a few words in this subject, the European Union and the internationalism. And before I answer, I would like to explain that the history of Poland is the history which now we are the members of the European Union, but before European Union, Poland was a member of the Socialist Bloc, and in the time of Socialist Bloc, Poland have very good relations with our neighbors. So we have good relations with the Soviet Union, and we have good relations with the Eastern Europe countries. Now we have the relations with the Eastern Europe countries which are a part of the European Union, but our relations with Belarus or with Russia are very bad. So it is from perspective of Poland, we can't say that European Union it is internationalist project, because in one way, yes, it's true, the Polish people can go to West, can go to France, can go to Spain, can go to other countries of the European Union, but we don't have relations with the closest neighbors like Belarus, and it is because of the European Union. Belarus is very important for the Poland because of history, because of the Polish minority which lived in Belarus, because of the Polish culture. For somebody who don't know the history of Poland, I think that it is I can compare this to the situation of Greece, that there are the Greek who lived many years from the ancient history. They lived in the west bank of the Turkey, and many Greeks made this culture Greek was produced there. And the same situation is with the Belarus, in Belarus we can the many people who create the Polish culture, like the biggest poet of Poland, Adam Mickiewicz. Adam Mickiewicz is one of the biggest poets of Poland. No, not one of the biggest. He is the biggest one. The biggest one is Adam Mickiewicz, and he was born, and most of these poems he created in Belarus. In Belarus there are a museum of the Adam Mickiewicz. There are the monuments about Adam Mickiewicz, because the Belarus of Lukashenko, they continue they take Mickiewicz like a history also of Belarus. So they don't make this. It is a difference between the Belarus and Poland. In western part of Poland, we can't find the monuments to the Germans who lived in Szczecin or Wrocław or Gdańsk. It's impossible to find, and I think that we can find the Germans which are very important for the German culture, and they lived in these cities which now are taken by Poland. But in the other way, Belarus make a very good job to celebrate the people important for the Polish culture. We have also a very big minority of Poles who lived in Belarus, and this after the Second World War, there was a front border. And some of these Poles came to Poland, some rest in Soviet Union, because it started to be a Soviet Union, and it is sometimes the one families. Now they were divided, but in the time of socialist bloc, it was not very necessary. Okay, now we have part of people who lived in Poland. Other lived in the socialist Bielorussia, but in the time of socialist bloc, they can communicate. Now it is very difficult because of all these tensions between Poland and Belarus, Poland and Russia, all these attempt to Poland to organize putsch or a color revolution there. So it is not so simple to say that European Union it is internationalism. In my from perspective of Poland, European Union it is unification Poland with the Western European countries, but we had to pay a price, broke our contact with the other with the countries from the socialist bloc, which are very close to Polish nations, but also we broke our relations with the countries from the third world. And I prepared some collections of the images. This is an image from the DPRK. It was a visit of the Polish leader, General Jaruzelski, Wojciech Jaruzelski. He was a leader of Poland in 1980s. I am not a big fan of him because he is one of the person responsible for the restoration of the capitalism system in Poland. But as you see, he had good relation with the Kim Il-sung, and he was there. He was in the DPRK, and after he invite also the Kim Il-sung to Poland. So firstly, I will show the. It is DPRK, as you see. It is. I think the one and only only time when the Polish leader was invited to other country, and like this, that he was the biggest star in the big stadium in Fenian. And today when the Polish leader came to other country, they don't care about it, because but in the time of the socialist relations between Poland and DPRK, you see the old stadium was they prepared all this celebration. What else? Here you can find the Jaruzelski. They drank together with Kim Il-sung. and it is visit of Kim Il-sung in Poland, or maybe not. Maybe it is. No, I think that it is Poland, but maybe it is DPRK. But he came to Poland also. So we had relations with DPRK. Today Poland don't have relation with DPRK. So this argument about internationalism not work here, because we broke our relations with other countries. So it is one thing which I wanted to show you. Now the other guy. I hope that you know him, because everybody know him. It's Fidel Castro, who came also to Poland. So here is Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro in Poland. He's now here. He's wearing traditional clothes for the Polish miners. So he visited Silesia. He visited Auschwitz. Here is Fidel Castro with the concentration camp Auschwitz-Birkenau. Here is Fidel Castro with the traditional hat of the Polish miners. Here, if with Jaruzelski, and it is also so. Here is also with Jaruzelski. So as you see, Poland have a relation. I don't want to make. You can find many interesting photos about the relations of Poland and other socialist countries or third world countries which have leftist politics from Africa, and it is interesting, but maybe in other time I will show you. So I didn't show you this. You see here, this is a stamp, a post stamp. Long live the indestructible international friendship and solidarity between the Korean and the Polish peoples. Now this friendship don't exist. Now we don't have friendship with the DPRK. Now we have friendship with the fascists from the South Korea government. Okay, so I will return to the question of the Comrade Hellas. So it is one thing which I want to present, that European Union from Polish perspective, it is not internationalism, it is changing that now we have relations with the Western countries, but we broke relations with our close neighbors from Eastern Europe, and also with third world countries. If we want to compare where are the most people, I think that most people lived in the global south, third world countries, not in the European Union. Second thing which I want to say, that it is the nature of the European Union. I can't say that the European Union is the internationalism of the equal nations, equal state, because it's not true. It's not true about Poland, it's not true about Greece. I remember the situation from the 2015 when the bourgeois media in Poland and France and the politicians from all Europe attacked Greece, and they said that Greece is the country of the lazy people and we do not have help the Greek people. We need to punish Greek people for their for their laziness and this destruction of the Greek state, which is in crisis from 10 years. It's shown that it is not solidarity, not internationalism. It is a dictature of the most powerful countries in Europe, like Germany, maybe France also, which have very strong financial sector, and this financial sector decided about European Union. So European Union, it is a project of the big monopoles, big banks, big industries, not a project of the international relations of the working class. It's not like that. And the relations between Poland and the European Commission and the Western countries in Europe are very, very bad. I think that since 2015, when the Law and Justice came to power, and they started to organize campaign against Poland, also against Hungary, and they start to show their the colonial mentality, that shown that the nations from the Eastern Europe, you have to be obeyed for us. And some of the leftists try to explain, that European Union have right in this question, because European Union fight for the democratic rights, for the rights of the women or the LGBT stuff like this. It's not true. It's not true. The European Union don't fight about democracy in Poland, because if European Union is interested about democracy, they will not tolerate the repression in Spain against the organizers of the referendum in Catalonia. If the European Union think about the democracy and the freedoms of the political activity, they will make something against Emmanuel Macron, President of France, who destroyed the Yellow Vest movement. Every weekend he organized a big force of police to fight with the French people who demonstrating in the French streets. And I can continue speaking about all these things in Western Europe which are not democratic. This is here we have to understand that the promise which was made in 2004 when Poland became a member of European Union, there was a referendum organized in Poland, and in this referendum they promised us that our salaries and our life will be in the same level like people from Western Europe. It was a lie. 17 years after this referendum, we have all the time this difference, big difference in this between the salaries in Poland and salaries in Western countries, and they make all things to continue this situation, that they delocated the industry from the west to Poland to use this cheap labor force in Poland. And of course the Polish governments from Law and Justice or the Civic Platform, they accept the situation. But in one day, if the government of Poland will be government who serve people, who serve workers, who want to change the situation, that because now the situation is that we are like slaves in European Union. The Polish people and the other nations from Eastern Europe, Romanians, Bulgarians, make the most difficult and dirty jobs. The example is the work of the Polish truck drivers in the time of pandemic, when nobody wanted to go to Italy, in the time when Italy was the only place in Europe where is the pandemic. They sent their Polish truck drivers. Polish truck driver, which in the time when we need to have all these hygienic to wash hands, to wash themselves, they send the Polish truck drivers to Italy without any protection, because they didn't want to send the citizens from the Western countries. I think that the subject is finished, but I can say some words also about the idea of this European Union, because I already said that we broke our relations with third world countries, and relations of partnerships, because these photos of Polish leaders and Fidel Castro or Kim Il-sung, it's shown that there were the relations of the partnership. Now maybe we have economic relations, but that's all. But the question is why these relations are broken, and the answer is very, very dirty, because of the project of the European Union, which in my opinion it is imperialist European project, which was created to use unification of European nations to fight for the conquer of the world, fight for the sphere of influence in Africa, fight there with the USA, China, Russia, and we see that European Union is all this aggressive rhetoric against Russia, all this aggressive rhetoric against China. In 19th century we already knew situation that European ruled Africa, and the European Union was created, in my opinion, to make easier for the European bourgeoisie. But when I say when I use a word European bourgeoisie, I am not speaking about bourgeoisie from Greece or from Poland, because nobody care about our bourgeoisie. It is bourgeoisie from the France, Germany, and these Western countries. Our nations is a part of European Union, but nobody listen what we are like. Maybe not slaves, but we are like something in the middle between slaves and not slave. So yes, all this the European project now is changing. They try to change the European Union to one country, and it's nothing. It is okay. We have different nations. Okay, we have different languages, but it is not internationalism. It is building new nations, new European nation that maybe, and it is easy to understand from African perspective, because from African perspective, when in the very poor area you can find European people, for the people who live there, they don't care if this rich tourist came from Greece or Germany or France. For them, this is European, because and so European Union is a racist European project which wants to fight with other nations to supremacy on the world. So yes, I am for the internationalism, but to build international relationships, we need for this I don't know, reform or destroy European Union. I think that destroy is more important, because it's very easy to understand that all this bullshit propaganda about the internationalism don't work if you won't analyze our relations with Belarus. And try answer to my question. If it is internationalism, why from 30 years the relations between Poland and Belarus is so bad without any hope that it will change? In my opinion, it will never change in the time when Poland is the eastern border of the European Union, and all the time we are used by the Western capital to make pressure against the Belarus and Russia.